I don't know if you've noticed, but the weather's starting to get a little bit colder outside. It's this time of year when the sun goes down sooner. We don't have as much daylight, and the days just get colder. And one of my favorite ways of warming up is sitting next to a fire. This last spring, we built a fire pit in our backyard. And over the spring and through some of the summer and then again in the fall, we would have different campfires outside, and we'd roast hot dogs and s'mores and the whole bit. And it's fun just kind of at the end of the meal, at the end, we're just sitting there around the fire and just feeling warm from the flames. And sometimes our life is like the weather. Sometimes our walk with God, sometimes our faith is like the weather. Sometimes when it's burning hot and we're and things are just great and we're just growing and just real close to Jesus. But then sometimes we feel like we're distant, and our faith grows a little bit cold, maybe a little bit stale. And the difference is that we're just not as close to the source. We're not as close to the flame. We're not as close to the heat. We're not as close to the light as we need to be. And so if we want to grow in our faith, if we want to help others grow in their faith, if we want to help others come to know Jesus, we have to have a growing, vital relationship with Jesus. We have to be close to Him. So maybe you're finding yourself maybe you find your faith kind of hard to build up and pick up and grow, and you have bad news here, bad news there, and all this news is kind of bringing you down. The one thing that can help us kind of pick up, one thing that can help us have a little bit more life and a little bit more pep in our step is if we are to begin to draw close once again to Jesus. To draw close to Him brings us closer to growth, brings us closer to joy, brings us closer to His love, brings us closer to grace, brings us closer to being the person that we want to be. And we find ourselves slipping back, find our life a little bit colder. We're not quite as loving. We respond not in the most kind and loving ways. But the closer we are to Jesus, the more that we are walking in step with Him, the more we see His fruit coming out in our life. Out of love and joy and peace and patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. Those sorts of fruit that we were talking about over the summer. We want to see those fruit continually be in season in our life. And the way to do that is to draw close to the Son, to draw close to Jesus, to open up His Word, to pray, to walk in step with Him, to look for opportunities to serve others, to serve those around us, so that we might help them see and know Jesus. That's our role. That's our job. That's our ministry. That's what we're supposed to be about, is pointing others to know Jesus. And so I hope that you are generous with your time, that you're generous with your faith, that you're generous with your love, that you're generous with what you know about God, so that others may come to know Him. Guys, I love you, and I'm praying for you, and I hope we get to see each other real soon.